Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Lisa Castro. I want to welcome you to tonight's call. We are here to really learn about creating health. And if you are on the 5-1 right now, we ask that you just kind of take that into consideration as we go through some things. But tonight we're going to be talking about do you have health? How do you know? Got health? If you don't know, what we would do is encourage you to be able to reach out to your coach and use some of these tools that we have here. Now, I myself have been a coach for almost 13 years. Next month is my 13-year anniversary. I started my journey at a very unhealthy place, turned it around, and I just want to spend a few minutes, if you could, sharing if there's anybody here that wants to tell some great journey that they've been on and express themselves about how where you started and where you're at, and just a nutshell version of it so we can be here to celebrate your successes. Anybody want to share something? Or we're going to be shy tonight. This is your opportunity to shine. We would love to celebrate you. At least introduce yourself if you could. If you can't take yourself off mute, okay, I think you can. You got to unmute yourself if you want to talk, or raise your hand. Either one. Okay, should I just sit here for a little bit? All right, there you go, Sylvia. Thank you. Can you take yourself off mute?
Yes. I'm Sylvia. Well, nobody else is sharing, but there's nothing very much interesting sharing with me. I just started 1 week. I've been here 1 week, already lost 5 pounds. I'm really excited and looking forward to learn everything about all this program and all the support and whatever you guys have to say.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for volunteering. Those that are on their journey right now, some of you are just getting started, like Sylvia, and others of you have been, like myself, and been maintaining your weight and optimizing your health for years. I would love to hear from somebody that's had a huge weight loss story. Is there anybody on the call right now that would like to share just the weight? Okay, Joyce is raising your hand. Yay, Joyce. I know your story. I look forward to hearing a little bit more. Okay, Joyce, did you have your mute off? Down at the lower left. There you go.
Am I there? Thank you. Sorry.
That's okay.
Just by the numbers, I've lost about 125 pounds.
Wow.
And this is the truth. This is the plan that works. This is the one. And I just can't stop telling people about it. So
fantastic. You've lost more than I weigh.
I know.
Aren't you glad you don't have to carry me around anymore? And I know your story and you've lost. We could talk about losing weight, but there's a lot of emotional baggage that gets lost along the way as well.
Yes. Yes.
And so we know that scale is one way to know how well we're doing with our health journey, and you've got that, but you're going to be seeing some things as we go through our presentation tonight of other ways too.
It is so much more than the pounds. It's everything else around it, and the weight loss is just a wonderful plus. I love everything that's happening.
Fantastic. Thanks for sharing tonight. Is there one more person that'd like to share before we get going? Now, I can't see everybody at once, so if you want to just take yourself off mute and talk, you're sure welcome to. I'll wait a couple of seconds.
Lisa, this is Patty.
Okay, hi Patty, how are you?
Good.
Long time no see.
Yeah, hey. Well, I'll share tonight. The month of May represents my 2-year anniversary of when I started on the program. And I've been maintaining my weight loss of, I lost 35 pounds and 39 inches. And I've been maintaining that for the last 1.5 years. And so I just look forward to learning more tonight. I mean, for me, even though, I've achieved my weight loss goal, there's still more I always want to learn about. It's ever learning, ever moving towards that optimal health. And so I just look forward to everything that you're going to share tonight and inspire all of us to keep moving forward.
Fantastic. I'm going to ask you a question, Patty. Was it always easy?
No, it wasn't. It was a day-by-day process, always putting one foot in front of the other, and always remembering to ask myself, what did I want more? You know, I would say to myself, you know, do I want this or do I want, and then I would fill in the blank. And I had to use that to challenge myself many times to make good choices. But it was so worth the perseverance and staying true to it all the way through.
Fantastic. And if you don't mind me sharing, do you mind me sharing a little bit of our conversation that we had at the Broken Egg after church on Sunday when you came to visit?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I remember you saying, maybe, okay, I've been great at maintaining my weight, but maybe I want to pick up the health, creating more of that optimal health and get back to that fitness that you had in the past. Have you been working on that since we talked?
Yes, I have. Actually, before I came on the call tonight, I went for a walk for about 40 minutes and walked 2 miles. So that was a good stretch for me. I have a little trouble with my knee here and there, but I, keep pushing myself, and my knee held up really well. And it felt great just to get out there and know that I was getting some movement in today.
Fantastic. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. It's neat because we had some good times talking about, what could the future look like? And so you're on your way to that next thing that you want to do in your life. So
right.
Terrific. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead, and that's a good segue into our presentation tonight. I'm going to share my screen now. And then I'm going to hopefully have some time left for anybody that has any questions. Please prepare as you listen to the presentation tonight. If there's something that you really would like to share or that you'd like to ask a question, please don't be shy. That's what this call is all about, is working together as a community to lift each other up and be able to have a sense that others care about our journey as well as we caring for others. So that's what this is about tonight, as well as learning some healthy lifestyle that's going to take you from just weight loss into creating health. So got health. We've talked about how to figure out what you want, why you want it. We talked about how you can get there, but we didn't really talk about how we can measure. There's a mentor that we've gotten some guidance from that talks about having mission first, meaning what do you want? Why do you want it? So you think about what's my motivation for doing this, and then there's measurement. How well am I doing it? And then you say, if I want to do it, how am I going to put things in place so I can actually have it? And then you measure how well you did that, and then you're on mission to create that why that you have for your life, what it's going to look like. Well, tonight's going to be about measurement. We've talked about the why and what's important to somebody, and now we're going to talk about how to measure if you're going in the right direction and how you can expand your why by looking at where you're at now, we call it your current reality, where you want to be, your vision or your goals for your future, and what would you put in place to know that you are on the right path to do that. So if you, I can tell there's somebody that's not muted, so if you could, that'd be fantastic. Okay, so it's not all about the scale, is it? Joyce was talking about it. She lost 125 pounds. That is amazing. But she was talking about the emotional health that she's gaining, the optimism. I know for a fact, hearing her talk about the optimism in her future and the fact that she can help others. She actually became a coach because she just really wanted to pay it forward of what's been happening in her life, and she wants other people to feel as good as she's been feeling. So it might have been about the scale to begin with for a lot of people. That's one way to measure. That's probably the most common way of measuring. And a lot of us stop at the scale. There's so much more than the scale. Okay, there's the number. But what if you put on a little water weight? What if you put on some muscle? What if you didn't sleep well the night before? That can affect the scale. And especially if you're changing your body composition to more muscle and less fat, the scale won't be as accurate as it was when you first started the program and you weren't exercising. So it's a tool. There's other tools we're going to be talking about too for measurement. But first I want to just touch on the trilogy wheel. If you've not seen this or your coach hasn't shared this with you, please look a little more closely than most. But this is how to figure out, am I on the right path at a glance? When you started your physical health, where were you on a scale from 1 to 10? And then where are you on a scale from 1 to 10 with your mental health? And then how about your financial health? So at a glance, you can kind of say, well, I'm about here. And this is a little subjective because, if you were in a really poor health state and you're feeling a lot better, you might think you're a 9. When in reality, you could go a whole lot further. So give yourself some room to grow and expand your outlook and the things that are possible. Abundance to you might be right now financially, that your job can maybe pay for your bills. But maybe abundance later on might be that you have plenty to save or to give away. So, it's going to change over time as you notice yourself accomplishing more and more of your goals. So here's another tool that you can use. If you guys haven't heard about the book, Stop, Challenge, Choose, you can download it at this web address at the top, stopchallengechoose.com/download, or you can go to Dr. A's website called habitsofhealth.com, the same name as the presentation here tonight, and you can download things there. And you can also get really educated on a lot of other things while you're there. Matter of fact, there's a great blog about The Biggest Loser, and Dr. A did a great Zoom call talking about how diets don't work. We've proven that over and over. Unless you change the lifestyle that goes along with it, you can lose weight, but will you be able to go on and maintain that weight, optimize your health? That's what his book is about, and talking about how we can change our habits. And within that book, the way to measure how well you're doing is basically that trilogy wheel, but it's broken down to where you can give yourself a number for each one of those categories. So I started with the simplest, the scale. Then I went to the look at your overall health. Now I'm breaking it down with the other tool, the well-being evaluation, that you can also get from your health coach, or go on their website, or go to Dr. A's website, habitsofhealth.com, and you can do this evaluation. You can even send it to your health coach from there. And this will give you a really good idea of where you're at in your physical health. Then you give yourself a score by adding those all up. And then you do your mental health, most relationships, your attitude at work. Again, give yourself some room for growth. I do really well in all three of these areas, but I want to give myself room to always improve. So I don't know that I give myself a 10 on anything, even though I feel like I've really accomplished a lot and changed a whole lot over the years. But it's up to you, but keep in mind, this is still a little subjective, but at least it breaks it down and you can see where you would want to improve your health. And you can share this with your coach. So again, put your score together there. And then with your financial health. People think, what does financial health have to do with physical and mental health? Well, if your finances are in a mess, it causes stress. Typically, we eat the wrong thing when we're under stress. It causes cortisol release. It adds the abdominal fat. You might not be doing as well at work as you'd like to be doing, and then you don't get that raise or whatever it is. The financial health, mental health, and physical health all play a hand in each other. So if one is really weak, it's going to weaken the others over time if it's not already. So what we do is we strengthen up the weakest areas, or we work on the things we know we can have the most impact, and that's usually the physical health first. So adding up that score, putting it all together, finding out if you are failing with your cumulative score, poor, surviving, above average, thriving, or you're optimal. Optimal is so cool because so many people want to stay maybe surviving. What if you could be above average? Well, you're going to want to do things that are above average to get there. What if you were actually thriving? What would it take to thrive? Go back and look at some of those scores. Where could you improve your scores? So this is going to give you a tool to know which areas would really help you with your overall health. So you take all of that, concentrate mainly, most people are starting with their healthy body and concentrate there. That's the part you have the easiest control over, the fastest control. The other ones you'll be working on as you go. I'm still working on the mental health especially, and financial health is doing great, but ever changing of what we want to accomplish with that. So here's another evaluation that a lot of us don't talk about it because it takes a little bit more time, but this is the only evaluation we used to have, and it's in Dr. A's Habits of Health book. It's also on his website, Dr. Wayne Anderson. It's also on his Habits of Health website. You can pretty much get the same information on both of those. They're interchangeable. But within the book, Dr. A's Habits of Health, there's an evaluation. You can take it online and just click it. Your health coach can actually provide it to you as well. And on there, this goes into a lot more detail. This is going to take you a while. He actually even says, this is following questionnaire is all about you, and it's thorough. Be sure to give it your full focus, away from noise, interruptions, cell phones, and other distractions. And it's basing it on where you're at. Now, this evaluation wasn't around when I first started my program, because Dr. A didn't write this book until the end of 2008, and we'd started our journey at 2003. So when I had this tool, I thought, okay, if I had taken this evaluation at the end, I would have been considered the very, what does he say? He says very unhealthy. Maybe even lower I actually would have been considered sick, maybe even ultra sick if there was something below a 0. But as time went on and making those lifestyle changes and seeing where I could tweak it, one of the things I noticed, it even talked about blood test results. It talked about whether you had close friends, if you had beef, how often a week. It would talk about, are you taking your omega-3s? It was just like a combination of how's your sleep, how many hours are you sleeping, are you eating how many times a day? It was all inclusive. And I remember one of the things I read when I thought I was at a really healthy place is I didn't realize how much relationships had an impact. So I actually started working purposely on my friendships and improving my friendships, which meant I had to improve myself so I'd be a better friend. So it really helps us all really create that healthy life. You can see how far away I am from that scale that I started out with. Do you see how I'm creating that life by doing these evaluations? So I would really encourage you, especially if you want to take your health to the next level, to see what it is you could do to tweak your health to really have long-term results. Because now it's been 13 years for myself, and I'm going to be 56 next month, and I am feeling the most fit I've ever been in my entire life. Who would think? And, my dad is actually 77 years old, training for a 50-mile run. So it's like, what could we do with our health if we really challenged ourselves? He lost 60 pounds 13 years ago, and the disclaimer is, the typical is, oh gosh, I don't have it memorized and I don't have it on the slide, but there's going to be a slide later. You can see the disclaimer, but that's not typical for everyone. But I'll tell you, it's been a joy watching my dad create health and fitness in his life. He's showing me what's possible. Here's another way to calculate. This is called a TEE calculator. If you haven't heard of it before, it's Total Energy Expenditure Calendar or Calculator. There's going to be a quiz at the end, just so you know. You have to know every bit of this, and if you pass, I'm totally kidding. You know that, guys. I don't see anybody smiling. This is for your sake that I'm sharing this, and you're going to figure out which tools you think will be best for where you're at on your journey. Your health coach can help guide you. This one is typically used when somebody is wanting to up their game. They've already gotten to that healthy weight, and they want to create more health and fitness. And this helps you go into what we call maintaining your weight and going on to optimizing. So there's something called a 3 and 3 plan that we use this calculator to know how many calories we should be burning, and then the amount of activity we're putting associated with that. And then there's actually a plan that's created to go along once you've lost your weight of how that's going to look. So this T calculator, that if you up your game with getting to a lower weight and you're increasing your activity, you're going to find that you get to consume more calories and maintain your weight. I actually eat more calories today than I did when I was overweight. Eat healthy calories, and I balance it because I exercise plenty. So if you want to say, gosh, I'd love to be able to eat more calories when I get to my healthy weight, let's calculate it out. And again, be objective. If you say you're extremely active and that to you is working out a half hour, 4 days a week, that's not what's considered extremely active. So be really objective and compare it to the norm, not to your norm for this calculation, okay? Then there's the body mass index. This is a real simple one. This is one that your coach probably went through with you, maybe even showed you this chart that would help you calculate where you're at with your body mass index calculator. Height, you're in feet and inches, what your current weight is, and then you calculate your BMI, and it will give you a number. Now that number is not everything, again, just like the scale is not everything. You could be stacked with a bunch of muscle, and it's going to show you at a higher BMI, and when in reality you're really lean and fit. So it's also measuring the waistline. And so if your waist is going in and your BMI is going down, you know you're on the right path for that as well. So this is what the BMI calculator looks like. Let's say somebody's 5'7", 150 pounds. Their BMI is 23. Well, and that's considered healthy. It actually gives you some feedback here. But call your health coach to see how you can, because they're going to know your individual situation. And it just talks about, building that BMI if you have more muscle. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger would have been considered probably in the obese category when he was at his prime. But that's because he had so much muscle on, but he had a really lean waist. So you take all of that into consideration. I'm going to give you some more tools if fitness is part of your desired outcome, which I hope it is. Oh, and here's some extra picture. I've got it out of order here for the Habits of Health questionnaire. There's everything from, you see how it breaks it down. It doesn't say, do you eat healthy? It actually says, in the previous 12 months, it's asking if you've lost or gained or stayed the same weight. Do you eat breakfast? How often? And do I eat small, healthy meals? How many of them? In general, I eat a certain percentage of my calories after 5 p.m. I eat red meat. Do you see how detailed this one gets? So if you want to know just little things you can do to tweak your program, go back through that evaluation, or do it, I suggest once a month or once every 6 months at least, to see if you're improving your health. Okay, and here's on Dr. A's website, it's talking about the BMI, and it's giving more detail of what that actually means. So if you go to the Dr. A or drwayneanderson.com or the Habits of Health, you'll be able to find it there. It's listed as the BMI calculator. So measuring tools, as I was saying before, the scale's one tool. If you measure the waist circumference and do that BMI, that combination is probably really good for most people to see if you're on the right path. Okay? But here, if you want to really pick up your game, fitness measurements. If you're at I'm going to do a qualifier. If you are on the 5-in-1 and have not been exercising regularly prior to starting your journey, we ask you to not start until you've been on the program at least 2 to 4 weeks, and then we encourage a walking program to gradually put it into your day, and then gradually add a little bit more as time goes on. And then your health coach, you can work with them, and when a good time is to start doing more activity and more possibly weight training. But we do it incrementally to make sure that your body, with the fewer calories that it's consuming, will be able to handle it. So they might have to adjust your program. You'll actually have better results if you've not been exercising and you don't do anything more than walking and maybe some core exercises during your weight loss phase. But later on, you want to pick up exercise. I was only doing the elliptical trainer during the weight loss phase about halfway through the program, and then I picked up weight training. And one way to measure how your body composition is, meaning how much lean mass you have versus how much fat, that's a really good indicator if you're moving in the right direction, because you could lose weight, but you might be doing it in a way that's not healthy, and you're losing muscle. And muscle is going to be what helps you maintain your weight over time, and it's also what's going to make you feel fit, it's going to make you feel strong, it's going to prevent you from having injuries, or at least lessen the chance of injuries because your body is stable. And if any of you guys are getting older, like myself, have you ever noticed the difference between an older person that's the same age? One walks with a gait, their feet are wider apart when they walk, maybe hunched over a little bit, and somebody else that's walking upright, straight, feet are closer together, and they've got good posture. If you've noticed the difference, they can be the same age, but one looks older than the other one. Just from posture alone, and having a strong core will really make that difference. So you can go talk to a fitness trainer, a skilled fitness trainer, the same one, same time of day, and go to them for what we call a caliper testing. This happens to be just one that I bought offline, but it could be any brand. And you can even be taught how to do your own if you're really, really careful about how you do it and measure it in the same place. And then if that number goes down, it's your overall body composition, then you know you're really getting to that place where you're creating health and fitness in your life. If anybody can see the picture on the right, that's actually one of my workouts. Went for 2 hours, kept my heart rate at an average of 144, and I burned 1,200 calories. If I was tall and bigger and just over 100 pounds, I would have burned a lot more calories. But I was working out hardcore, and it was exhilarating to me. The first time I ever did that, I thought I was going to die. I laid on the couch and had a horrible headache the first time. So now I have a time I know how to do it to where it's exhilarating. But I just do it once in a while as a fitness test for myself. So that's my way of measuring it. Is I have a tool on you can use any other applications, but I have one on my phone that I use that goes along with the chest strap that I use to measure my heart rate. Another way to know if you're fit. If your heart rate is really going up really high on the same workout, and then over time it's not, you're having to increase the workout to get the same heart rate, you know you're really getting your heart in good condition as well. So again, a way to measure your fitness. Here's a really nice way to measure your fitness. Pictures, before and after, and in very small print, it has the average weight on optimal weight 5-in-1 plan with support is about 20 pounds. Now this is Katie. Katie has an amazing story. She's now down 170 pounds. How many people you can't even imagine losing 170. She's still on her journey and very excited. Matter of fact, she just about 5 days ago became a health coach because so many people have been inspired by her story. And she's been very open about it on Facebook, the journey she's going through. And then there's Laura Paulin with her family on the...
Hey, Lisa.
Yes, ma'am?
We cannot see the screen move. It's still on Habits of Health questionnaire.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
You don't see any of that?
We have the Habits of Health questionnaire. Maybe go out and come back. Like unshare and then come back.
Thank you, Lori.
Sure.
Surprised nobody said anything, or did they? By chat?
They're chatting.
I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with my computer.
Okay, let me try again. So you guys missed out on some great photos. Okay, let me try it. Okay, so you saw this, right?
Yes.
And here's the VMI Measuring Tools. You guys all know what a measuring tape looks like and a scale. And here's the fitness one that I was talking about. There's a screen from my phone on the right-hand side and just logging in. And it keeps track of my workouts. I can even send it to people and challenge people. So that also expands the way you can measure how you're doing it if you're doing it with others and you continually do it. Now, if you've been exercising prior to Take Shape for Life, we ask you to cut it back in time and intensity by half. And it still might be a little too much. If you don't want to huffing and puffing and sweating while you're on the 5 and 1, especially as your body is getting used to the lower calories. Then if you want to up your game, you can work with a fitness trainer that's very familiar with how our program works, and they might be able to kick it up. But I'll tell you, you're going to have better results the less exercise you're doing during the weight loss phase, and then you can go crazy if you want afterwards. That's what I tell people, and that's what I love being able to do. And I also get to consume more calories, healthy calories, I might add, to be able to stay there. Okay, so do you guys see the pictures now? Okay, good.
Yes.
Thank you for the feedback, Tina and Anthony. Yes, and Lisa too. Everybody I'm seeing there. Okay, so now you get to see Katie. Do you see Katie in the upper right? My goodness. So you can tell it's the same woman. She's got the tattoos getting smaller across her clavicle there. So it's in her journey, she talks about her weight loss, but the emotional baggage that's been dropped as well. Just so cool in her life. I mean, she would describe this if she were here she sat on the couch and watched her family. And now she's out doing all kinds of things she never dreamt she'd be doing. And then Laura Paulin on the left with her family, she's really brought up a very fit, healthy family and inspired a whole lot of people in the process. They know about Lean and Green, and one of them's he goes on Zooms. He's training to be a health coach, even though he's got like about 8 years to go. But he wants to be a health coach when he grows up. And then, are you getting a restful sleep? You wake up so much more refreshed. Your relationships are going to be better. The way you look at life is going to be better. Your weight loss or your weight maintenance is going to be so much better when you get a good night's sleep, a quality night's sleep. So please don't forget to do that healthy habit, because it leads to so many other positive things in your life. And then surround yourself with community. If you are surrounded with friends, like-minded friends, especially that are on the journey with you and they want to support you, and they care about you and you're caring about them, whether it's on Facebook and doing some of the client support pages that your coach might have. There's a Take Shape for Life client support page as well. You might go to a local gathering or be on Zooms like this with your coach and some of their people and just feel part of community. Because when you have a sense of belonging, that gives you a sense of well-being, that this is what it's all about. These are ways to measure if your well-being is getting to a better place. This is my life. Who would have guessed when it was so hard for me to get out of bed, to go from how do I get out of bed, just surviving the day, to thriving, and what adventures can we do, and what new thing can we explore, and how can we expand our relationships? Think about that. What could it be like for you? This is how you know for sure if you're in the right direction. What do you think of that one? Puts a smile on your face, and then you know you're doing the right thing towards health. Okay, guys, I actually, a couple of minutes over, and we are going to have a doctor's call afterwards, so I want to make sure that we're respectful of that. Lori, can you type in the doctor's call phone number and code into the...
I don't have it right here. I have it in the other room.
Okay, if somebody could, that would be great if you know what that is. I should have had that handy for you. But if somebody want to ask a quick question while we're waiting for that, or have a quick story they'd like to share?
I just have to say that picture of the lady with the tattoo on her chest is remarkable, because I would love to have that picture actually to share on Facebook, because if she would allow it, because you wouldn't even know that was the same person if it wasn't for the tattoo. I mean, you would not. It doesn't look anything. And a lot of women that carried that much weight would never think they could look like that. So this would be like an inspirational just message to a lot of people out there just that have no hope, you know, to all of a sudden realize there is.
You know, you are so right, Lori. Matter of fact, if you saw her full body picture, she would be absolutely amazed how her body has changed. So
that's awesome.
I'm going to post it on my Facebook page too. And I know Katie is good with me sharing. I'm going to ask her first, but she's like, yes, share away. I know that's her heart. So, and watching her change just in her demeanor, her joy of life, what she's taking on, how she's inspiring, even her writing skills, because she's been sharing her journey all along the way. Even her writing skills have changed, because it's just, you know, it's like she could be a blogger now from all the things that have happened in her life.
So I just found this on our website under support tools on the main page, and this is the number for the live call and the passcode. Can everybody see that?
Okay, and we can stop recording as we say goodbye to everyone. Thank you.